Here I found something cool. I can get it in focus. There's the top of it right here. That is the...
In the heart of the American South, history grows from the roots of tobacco fields and cotton plantations. From colonial ambition to a land shaped by revolution. Southern patriots fought fiercely in the War for Independence. In 1812, Southern ports became battlegrounds as war returned to the American shores. But it was the Civil War that scorched the soul of the South. From Charleston's first cannon blast to the burning of Atlanta to the surrender at Appomattox. The South remembers not just the battles, but the legacy they left behind.
Welcome back to Dixieland History, and happy Super Bowl Sunday. So, even though I live in the South, I am a Patriot fan, so I'm hoping the Patriots will win today. But Seattle's going to put on a heck of a game, I'm sure, so we'll have to wait and find out. Anyway, today we're here at one of my permissions where I've actually never detected these fields. Don't know that a whole lot of people have, from according to the landowner. In fact, she had just told me a little while ago that nobody's ever detected her the house, around the house. So don't know if I'll get to that today, but at least I was able to get some more permission on their property. But anyway, where we're at today is actually a pretty neat piece of history. Just right over here through these woods is a old plantation house. And in fact, it just got recently bought by a young couple. I hadn't talked to them yet. But that plantation house, I believe I've told you in other videos, used to be a makeshift hospital when Sherman's troops came through here. And right in front of me is another plantation house that Sherman himself stayed in, along with, I'm sure, other upper echelon officers. But I do know he stayed in that house there. So we're going to work this field. Of course, I'm not going to be able to get to it all today. I'm just out here for a few hours and, try to get back by the time kickoff starts at 6:30 tonight for the game. So I'm going to stay out here as long as I can and hopefully find some Civil War relics and possibly even some plantation relics. So keep an eye out on what we find, and hope you enjoy the show. And if you like what you see, of course, I'll give some history lessons as we go along. Again, if you like what you see and what I do out here, trying to teach and find history, feel free to subscribe. It's free to do. Won't cost you a thing. But it's cloudy. Sun's kind of hidden, so it's a little chilly this morning, but it's supposed to warm up into the mid-40s, so that'll help out quite a bit. So we'll see you on the first hole. So as some of you, or most of you in the country probably know, we had a bunch of bad weather, really the last 2 weekends. I know at my house we ended up with 10 inches of snow, and hell, that's the most amount of snow I've seen in South Carolina since I've been born, and I'm 54, but I hadn't lived up here all my life. I did here at Target, and thought I'd do a little talking. This is the first hole of the day. And looks like we're starting out with nothing good, which is always a plus for me, because anytime I start out with something good, the rest of the day usually goes to crap. But here, you can see I'm still right here at the truck, so whoop, right in the truck it goes. If you find trash on somebody's property, you always take it with you. Don't ever leave it behind. They're letting you detect their property. Well, help clean it up. But yeah, we had a bunch of snow last week, and the week before that was all ice. Had about 3-4 inches of ice. So it's has not been ideal metal detecting. Finally get out here. I actually hadn't been detecting since December. So between work and bad weather, it's just been busy as all get out. But anyway, that was the first hole. As you saw, it was can slaw, and But at least all the snow and ice and all that's gone. It's a little chilly still, but it ain't too bad. We can get out here and get warmed up, hopefully digging some good stuff out the holes. Like I said, hopefully some Civil War relics. We'll find out. So I got 83, 85 right here by the pickup truck. So more than likely it's probably going to be a can of some sort. But we'll look. I mean, we are out here in the field. Might not be a can, but it's definitely small. That right there. Yeah, that's it right there. Not really sure what that is. Let's see. Get my glove off. It's round, but I know it ain't a coin. It's solid, so it's definitely not a washer. And I, of course, don't have my toothbrush. I'm looking to pick up. It might be in there, but I'm not sure. I believe it's a button. I'm almost positive it's a button, but I might be wrong until I can get it cleaned off well enough. Maybe with a design on it right there. I don't know if you can see that. Oh. Huh. Interesting. Especially considering where we're at. So, not really sure what that is, but it's light. It feels like a button. Or, you know what I bet it was? Might have been a part of a two-piece. Maybe a cuff button of some sort. But until I can get it cleaned up, I really can't tell. But anyway, got that. That's pretty neat. So I just found this little buckyball. And the one thing about this location, so this is late 1865 that Sherman's troops had come up through here. And right there's where I dug it out. So it was late 1865 when Sherman's troops came up through here. And of course, most of the fighting age men from this area was not in the area. In fact, they were a little up north. Well, they were scattered out, really. The state of South Carolina wanted all their men back, but really, guys like Gen Lee and whatnot, they couldn't really afford to send the guys back. And the reason that South Carolina wanted them back was Sherman's coming through, and there's, of course, a lot of other issues that were going on at the time. And so what was happening was, you know, they were basically taking over the state. And so their men back, let me get my hands out the way. South Carolina wanted their men back, so to help protect the state. And unfortunately, a lot of them couldn't make it back because they were off fighting campaigns and battles in other areas. So here in this area, basically you had young teenage men that were fighting and older gentlemen that were fighting, you know, 50, 60, 70-year-old men out here fighting the Union Army, trying to protect their lands and get them out of here. And here in this location, like I said earlier, so you had the one plantation house that was turned into a makeshift hospital when Sherman's troops were here, because they were stuck here for 3 days because they couldn't cross the river. So what was happening was that the local Confederates had found out that these Union soldiers were here, and so they wanted to get them out of here. The problem was that they couldn't do so, you know, with limited weaponry and things like that, and plus they were well outnumbered. So they were more or less just trying to basically scare them off. But what happened was 18 of those men were captured by the Union Army.
Steady, boys. Forward. Closing in. Can't hold them. Drop it. Drop it. Cease fire! Move in and take them.
And they were taken to the hospital right over here, where they were, patched up. There was a skirmish that went on for 2 days. Nobody was killed, but, there were injuries. But they captured them and kept them as POWs, along with, fixing up any issues they may have because, they were malnourished and whatnot. And so, finding that buckyball, just reminds me of the skirmish that did happen in this area as men just, really tried to protect their land, their homes, because Sherman's troops were tearing down homes, burning them and such. So, but yeah, 18 men was captured and put there. And they did get moved up north, I believe all the way to Delaware. Was the camp that they were brought to. But again, this is very, very late into the war. In fact, it was only a month away and the war was over. So luckily they weren't POWs for very long, although I'm sure they still had to sign statements, that they would never take up arms, against the Union Army again or against America. So, but anyway, yeah, I just wanted to share that because like I said, that little buckyball just kind of reminded me of that little skirmish, and knowing that young men and old men were out here doing what they had to do to protect their homes. So the one thing I don't recommend, which is what I actually did today, and it really stinks, is I forgot my GoPro at home. I thought I grabbed it, but I get over here and realized, well, no, I didn't. So everything's done on the phone today, so I got an 86, and it sounds deep, so I don't know on the first plug here if I even got to it. Luckily, all that snow that we got, I'm not even getting to it. The ground's pretty soft, so I can try using, I was gonna say I could use my shovel, but then I'd have to stop recording. And if this don't get me something, I'm gonna have to stop this and get the shovel, dig a little deeper. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, no. All right. Oop, get the finger out of the way. All right, so I'm going to stop this recording, get the shovel, dig a little deeper, and scan it again, and go from there. But if it's anything good, which I'm thinking it will be, I'll let you know. Well, back on that hole, you can see I had to get down in there. I mean, it's, well, here. Let's see. Get all the mud off everything. Here's the pinpointer. Now, I got a signal finally. But you can see I'm about a foot deep here, maybe a little over. I finally got a signal. I think I can use the hand tool now. Okay. Oh, cut it out. Oh, there it is. Ha! Look at there. Another 3-ringer. Yep. How about that? Dropped. That's pretty cool. Boy, that son of a gun was deep. But yeah, I can kind of understand it though. There's a lot of water in this area. So, yeah. How about that? And put that away. But yeah, look how deep that was. That was way down in here. I don't know if there's any, I didn't even scanned around. Oh, look at there. Huh. That's why the signal was so doggone good. Look at that. There's 2 of them in that hole. Yeah, both of them dropped. But they were dropped. They had to be dropped at the same time. Kind of doubt they were dropped separately and just ended up in the same spot, huh? Well, ain't that something? 2 in 1 hole. That's why it was so doggone loud. But it was loud, 86, which is a little higher than normal for 3-ringer. But I guess because there was 2 in 1 hole, maybe that's why. I figure, hey, if there's 2, maybe there's more. It don't look like it. Nope. Huh. That's cool. 2 in 1 hole. How about that? So I got a little 55 to 60. I can see it in here. Well, I thought it did. Oh, there it is. Huh. That's interesting. I believe, let me get this glove off. Let's see. That's some kind of little lead cap. I don't know if it's a bale seal. It's tiny. Huh. Yeah, some kind of little lead cap. Not quite sure what that would have went to, but that's pretty cool. We'll definitely keep it. Maybe we can figure out what it went to. Here's a neat little find. Now, of course, with this, there's no way of knowing for sure if this was Civil War or colonial, because the house was built in the early 1700s, and they owned over 4,500 acres. All of this was part of the plantation. So I don't know. I can see it here after digging the hole out. I do not know if this is Civil War. Just like that buckyball. You know, I don't know if it's Civil War or if it's colonial, but got a nice little round ball here, musket ball. Probably, if I had to guess, colonial. But I don't know. But that's a cool little find. Glad to have found that. There it is. It's been fired. So either somebody from the house, one of the 2 houses, you know, were out here hunting, or, you know, if it is Civil War, maybe they were, who knows, maybe they were hunting, not just Confederates or Union soldiers. But yeah, that's cool. Found me a little musket ball. Probably, if I had to guess, probably a little pistol ball. I think it's a little bit bigger than a pistol ball, but anyway, found some round lead. That's good. So here we are with a hole that's definitely got iron in it, but I'm picking up a signal somewhere else too, of something else too. Pinpointer's wanting to act up. So I believe the iron's over here. I don't know if I'm catching the edge of it or what. Let me make sure I didn't get it out already. Well, oh, there we go. Hell, it was right there on top. Somewhere. I thought I saw something. Maybe I didn't. Anyway, like I said, I know there's 2. I could tell there was 2 signals. One was really good, but I was only getting it in one direction. Now, the reason that I dug it is, even though I'm getting it in only one direction, it's oh, got it out. It's you know, there's a BDI sound, everything of a possible another 3-ringer. I don't see it. Oh, there it is, right there. Yep, sure is. That's a Williams cleaner dropped. Huh. How about that? Yep, Type 3 Williams cleaner. I'm still going to dig around in this hole, though. Hopefully there's more. But I do want to know what that iron is now that I got that, because sometimes 3-ringers, for some reason, or lead, any kind of big lead, sometimes for some reason I'll have a little grunt of iron to it. I still haven't been able to figure that out. That might have been why I was thinking it was iron. Now I'm going to get, nope. There is something right there. So before we put that Williams cleaner away, let's see if we can figure out what this other piece was. This. What is that? No way. You know what that is? That's a hot rock. Huh. That's all that was a hot rock. But it was with that. So that hot rock was giving me an iron signal or sound while trying to mask that Williams cleaner, but you know, this dais, you know, anybody that has a dais, you know how well it does separate really well. And that's exactly what this did. So that hot rock was laying close to, as you can see I dug it here, the hot rock, and the Williams cleaner was over there, but yeah, pulled them both out of there. That's pretty neat. Now here I found something cool. I can get it to focus. There's the top of it right there. That is a silver ring. And it was definitely giving me that 1991. I thought maybe it'd be a coin, but it's a broken ring. There's the side of it right there. See where it broke off and then bent right up underneath. Used to be a stone in it. Oh, don't drop it. Right there. Used to be a stone in that, but there's a silver ring. Now that's sterling silver. Huh, that is really neat. I can't wait to clean that up. Get some better details off of it. Man, what a pretty, I bet that was a beautiful little ring too. Don't know if it was male or female. If I had to guess, I'd say female. And I am almost positive this would have definitely came from the plantation. You can tell it's pretty old. One of the plantations, like I said, it got one right over there, just through them woods, and then one right over here. So that's really neat. Sterling silver. I just really, I mean, I'm not going to mess with it. I'll clean it up and put it in display. But how about that little ring? I like that, especially whenever it's something I wasn't expecting. So we got a good signal here. I'm gonna get my pinpointer out, and this is a really good signal. This is an 8081, which generally brings me pretty good luck, and this one does too. Look at there. You can see me digging it out there. How about that? That's what we came to look for. So definite. Yep, that's exactly what I thought it was. Definite relics of the Civil War. And that is a 3-ringer. Dropped. Yep. 3-ringer dropped, Union bullet. How about that? That's what we came to look for. And we're not far. We're a little closer now to the house that Sherman stayed in. So getting close to that. And put this away. Getting close to that now. So that's good. That's a plus. Now here we go again. 2 different signals. This is a 7776. But iron is in there as well. So I don't know if it was another hot rock or I'm catching the edge of some iron. Oh, what is that? I think that's what I was catching right there. I don't know what that is. Some kind of blob of iron. Like it's melted. It's definitely not a hot rock. Huh. Interesting. I don't know. It's a weird shape, but I'll keep it. I mean, I'll take it home just to take the... I use, if you guys don't have it, one of the things I recommend you getting is dental picks. They are great for cleaning iron, you know, rusted iron, especially if you're about to put something into a electrolysis. It definitely works really, really well with, you know, breaking up a lot of the heavy stuff, and then getting, and then that way when you put it into the electrolysis, and even after you started electrolysing something, you know, if there's chunks of iron that is having a hard time coming off, get your dental picks out, and they work really well. So 6263, took me a minute to find it, but another little round ball. So we're getting the little round balls out of here. That's good. Yeah, I don't know what they were shooting at, but again, can't verify, you know, that this is colonial or, you know, 1700s, 1800s, Civil War, who knows. But, you know, like I said, at least we're finding round balls out here. Hopefully we'll find some bigger ones. Maybe get some verification on what they are. But that's it. That's what came out that hole. So following the capture of Columbia on February 17th in 1865, that was when Sherman and his troops continued on marching through the state of South Carolina here. And believe it or not, the biggest reason that Sherman was so hell-bent, basically, on destroying South Carolina was because South Carolina was the first state to secede, and he wanted to punish the state for doing so. And so when he was coming through, he was burning railroads, buildings, towns, anything that he could. You know, they would go to plantations and home sites for foraging, you know, for food, clothes, supplies that they needed. And whatever they could not carry, they would actually burn. Whether it was food, cattle, they would shoot cattle to kill it, so that the homeowners had nothing to survive off of. 25, 26, believe we'll leave that. So that's some of the stuff that they would do. In fact, the Union troops had a nickname of bummers, B-U-M-M-E-R-S. And the reason that they were called bummers is because, bummer, man, they're coming to destroy everything. And that was kind of given to them by the people of South Carolina, that nickname. So, and the reason that they were the bummers was because, again, they were coming, you know, they knew they were coming to burn the railroads, burn any infrastructure that they possibly could. In fact, a lot of people don't realize it, but the first meeting of secession, look at there goes a robin. Probably can't see it now, so I guess the old rat up there in Pennsylvania might have been wrong, because he predicted 6 more weeks of winter. But seeing that robin right there, well, that tells me differently. But anyway, so a lot of people don't realize it, but the first meeting for secession from the Union was held in Chesterfield, South Carolina. And Sherman knew that. And so he was very determined to get to that courthouse where that meeting was held and destroy it, and which he did, along with a bunch of other paperwork that would have been very good for us today, for those who like history, to be able to read and just, you know, see what it was they were going off of. Of course, you know, each state had its own reasoning for secession. Yes, everybody talks about slavery, but that was far from the main reason why the southern states seceded. And some states seceded only because they were basically pressured by other states to secede. So, but we got a good signal here, And it sounds kind of, where to go? Right there. And it sounds kind of deep. So, because I don't have, and that's another 86. Maybe we'll get 2 in 1 hole again. But because I don't have my GoPro like a dum-dum, I have to stop the history lesson, mark my spot, and turn the camera off and dig. And then if it's something good, I'll come back and let you know. It wasn't quite as deep as the last one, you know, where I found 2 3-ringers in 1 hole, but I did find this. And that, yep, that is a squished, look how flat that thing is, cartridge. Oh, so how about that? That's interesting. Boy, if I could, you know, I'm good at finding the cartridges, but I just can't seem to find the full, you know, the whole one where the bullet's still in it. But hey, glad to have that. Wasn't expecting that. I'm kind of tired from digging that hole. That was a little deeper than I expected it to be. But again, it wasn't quite as deep, but that's a little bit, you can see this, now we're getting into the little sandy area, so makes things a little easier. But yeah, so that was biggest reason why Sherman came through South Carolina, was he wanted to punish the state for being the first to secede. Even though Sherman, he didn't care why any of the states seceded. He just didn't care. He felt that basically that's kind of sort of not really his business, none of his business. Because a lot of people don't realize Sherman, he owned slaves. So it wasn't to stop slavery or anything. The biggest reason that he did it was simply to, he was mad that the South was trying to break up the Union. And he did not want that. And that was the biggest reason why Lincoln, you know, that's what he was fighting for, to save the Union. And, which I'm sure there was probably others. In fact, I know there were. That's their biggest concern, was to save the Union. So, but anyway, so that's a little bit of history lesson on that. So, got an 8081, which is always a good, well, I thought it'd be good. I just seen that little iron staining. I don't feel nothing in there though. But yeah, 8081. Oh, still in the hole. Get out of there. But that is usually a 3-ringer signal. But no, not a 3-ringer. No, sure isn't. Can you guess? Look at that. Tank 3, another Williams cleaner dropped. Ha. Yep, with the disc. All right. So that's 2, let's see, 2 Williams cleaners and what, 3 ringers, I believe. So not bad for today. So we got some silver, we got some brass, we got some lead. Had a pretty good day so far. But like I said, we gotta end it. That way I can go home and get ready. I'm getting hungry anyway. All right, well, sun finally came out, but it's time to go. Like I said, I gotta go home and get ready for a big game. But had a good day out here, and definitely was good to get out and do some swinging again. But yeah, had a good day. You saw a lot of what I found. Of course, found a lot of trash. That's normal for any field. It'll get thrown away. You know, like you say, you don't leave it behind. But here's what we got. Turning it around here. So pretty productive day. I'm pretty happy with it, especially considering, like I said, that she was telling me this morning that none of this has ever been detected. So, which is really surprising, considering, because I know that not far from down the road, I'm still on their property. That place has been hammered, but I mean, I'm still finding stuff in there, so that's all that matters to me. But like I said, as you saw, 2 Williams cleaners dropped, 3 ringers dropped, 2 of them that were in the same hole. And then this really awesome flattened out cartridge case, the buckyball. I would guess and say that's a buckyball, but these 2 are pistol balls. And then that lead cap, that's still a mystery to me. I have no clue what that could have gone to, but I'm definitely gonna do some research on it and try to find out. And then I believe, now that it's drying up, I believe that's part of a 2-piece button. Could be colonial, which is what I'm going to guess and say it was, but definitely the find of the day. I'm just absolutely stoked. Is this sterling silver ring that it is broke and then bent over right there. But you know, like I said, I actually thought that I was going to be digging a coin. It was a solid 9091, which is a silver signal for these days twos. And, I thought I was actually kind of excited that just finding a coin, because I'm not a coin finding or a ring finding person. Unless it's out in a Civil War area. I mean, I don't go to beaches or, things like that, parks and things like that. So, for me to find stuff like that is pretty rare, and, it's always cherished, when I do, even if it's in a condition like that. So that was always fun. That was the finds for today, and definitely, like I said, definitely had a good time doing it. Glad it warmed up. Heck, I'm about ready to take this sweatshirt off anyway, but I'm hungry and I'm definitely thirsty. I'm gonna go over here and get my Milo tea. About the only good thing that's come out of Alabama. Don't tell Cliff Conjure that. He don't like that joke. Yeah, it's a really good tea. Heck, if they want to sponsor me, they're more than welcome to, But like I said, hopefully you enjoyed the history lesson. I'll put some more up for you to read throughout the video. That some people, can't hear a voice. Maybe they're at work watching this, but you can pause it to read it. So that way you can, get some more information on the happenings here in, South Carolina, and why Sherman came through. But if you like what you saw, had a good time watching the videos. Sorry, I may not have been all excited and stuff, but I'm a little wore out. Most of you know I drive truck, and I just had a pretty rough couple weeks, especially because of these storms. So to get home and finally get some good rest, was needed last night, and then come out here and do this. And so I'll probably need another two more nights of good rest just to get caught up, on my time clock here. But anyhow, like I said, if you liked what you saw, enjoy learning history, watching history Doug, again, feel free to subscribe, and I definitely hope to see you out here again. I'll be making more of these, a lot more of these, just to continue to teach that history. But again, thank you for watching Dixieland History. We definitely appreciate it, every one of you that does, and look forward to seeing you in the next video. That's pretty neat. Oop, dropped my rocks. Losing my rocks.